Hello, it is Super Orange Cat, and I have Toonami's ratings for July 6, 2019. Usually I would post this on Tuesday, however, due to July 4th being this past weekend, a lot of the ratings reports got pushed back, and for the ratings for Saturday did get pushed back to today. That's why this video is coming out today instead of Tuesday. And without further ado, let's go to the top of the block. Dragon Ball Super gets a 0.25 this week. Attack on Titan gets a 0.12. The Sword Art Online Alicizzation's penultimate episode for this iteration gets a 0.13. Lupin the Third Part 5 gets a 0.09. Food Wars debuts at a 0.09. Black Clover is at a 0.11 this week. Boruto is at a 0.11 this week. His Dad at a 0.09. Gundam at a 0.09, and My Hero Academia at its new slot is at a 0.09 as well, and the greatest anime of all time, Jumuseto Machu Picchu at a 0.07. As you can tell from these numbers, this was an extremely poor week for Toonami. This was the first week with 3 notable changes to the block that started this week. You have Food Wars now at 1 o'clock, you have Gundam debuting at 3, and then you have My Hero Academia's pushback all the way from 10:30 to 3:30. And I think this did, notably the My Hero Academia move, I believe, was what ultimately ended up killing the ratings this week. One thing this week actually had going for it was Family Guy being moved back to 10:30, and usually when Family Guy leads into the block, the ratings seem to do a bit well, since historically Family Guy goes into Dragon Ball Super pretty well, and you get good retention. However, you don't see that this week. The 0.25 this week for Dragon Ball Super is, by a notable measure, the worst rating it's had so far during the Tournament of Power arc. However, I believe last fall, once or twice, Dragon Ball Super did get dropped down to a 0.24, so it's not the lowest of the entire series, but at the same time, still a very poor number coming from it. And then again, and then this carries on for the rest of the block. Like, Attack on Titan usually gets upper teens. It usually is like a 0.17, 0.18. That's the numbers it usually gets when it airs new episodes. A 0.12 this week, and especially considering how big an episode it was for the canon and how important it was for the rest of the season. It's just disappointing to see a number that low for it. But in fact, I guess if we're looking for bright slivers of hope, Alicization did go up a little, Boruto went up a little, and even Black Clover went up a tiny bit. However, my theory for specifically what caused this drop was the general fan reaction to My Hero Academia being pushed down in the block. And if you paid attention, there's quite a few people who said, you know what, I'm just not going to watch the block anymore. I'm just going to watch My Hero Academia on Funimation now because I'm not going to stay up to 3:30 to watch it or watch stuff that I've probably already watched streaming, you know. And this carried on throughout the whole block, in my opinion, because there were a lot of people who just generally seemed fed up with Toonami in general because of this move. And I think that led to a notable number of people just dropping out of the block altogether. And that's what you see with these ratings. Like, this is just horrible ratings in general. And one opportunity Toonami could have had starting this week that I think they completely airballed on was to take advantage of specifically this filler arc that Shippuden just entered. This filler arc is notable because it's not as much filler as much as it's just simply recapping the events of Naruto so far to this point. And I don't mean Shippuden, I mean way back to the start of Naruto. Like way back to Ninja Academy days, Naruto. And you could have just advertised this and say, hey, remember that show you watched in like 2007, 2008? Oh, it's still on the air. And look, we're going to give you a few weeks to give you a nice quick recap of the show to this point so you can watch weekly and kind of understand where we are with this whole ninja war. And they could advertise that. And like I said, Toonami is kind of facing this eventual mass moment where Dragon Ball Super is going to leave the block in like 10, 15 weeks, right? And it's going to need a show that can hold that level of ratings. And the only type of show I think that can hold that type of ratings consistently will be more of the well-known legacy shows. And right now, Dragon Ball is probably the biggest name brand on the block. However, I'll say by a sizable margin, Naruto is the second biggest name on the block. Like, if you ask anyone who at best tangentially follows anime, or someone who just watches cartoons in general, if you talk about anime, the two anime that they'll probably mention will be, yeah, I know about Dragon Ball, Goku, Super Saiyan, and then the next one be like Naruto, because I remember all those kids in my middle school who would throw their arms back and run like ninjas, because they thought it was cool. And it's something that can stick in people's heads. It's a familiar name, and if it worked, if you can get people to the block, if you get people to follow back with the canon as it is now, due to thanks to this filler arc that started last week, I think you could have gotten a solid point 0.2 number consistently. And not only that, you have this through the end of 2024, basically. We still have like 230, 240 episodes of shipping left. And that would have been the absolute best case scenario for Toonami. To not only have a stalwart in the front of the block that can hold Dragon Ball esque numbers, but to have one you've got for years on years to come. And I think Toonami just airballed that opportunity. Another interesting thing to note is because we don't know what Sword Art Online Alicization replacement is, and the fact that it ends this upcoming Saturday. This core, I've called it a course. I've heard multiple terms for it. It's not over, but we will be getting a break. It's kind of like what happened with Attack on Titan Season 3, how it was broken into 2 different parts. It's kind of like that. I think there's still 16 more episodes that will follow someday, but we're going to have a break from that from the time being. And we still have not yet been announced what show will be replacing it. What we do know is that Genlock will be Attack on Titan's replacement at the start of August. We know Demon Slayer will be coming sometime in the fall. Some people believe that's what Super's replacement's going to be, but we don't know what Alicization's replacement's going to be just yet. And we'll probably get that announcement either later today or more likely sometime tomorrow, since 9 days is the current record for closest from announcement to air, that being Food Wars replacing The Promised Neverland. And I expect it to be roughly around then. So tomorrow, look out tomorrow. There will be another announcement, and I'm definitely going to make a video about that announcement when that does come. What do you guys think about these ratings? I don't think you're going to say these are great ratings. So I'm going to say, are these good ratings? Because they're not. What are your opinion on these ratings? How do you think Toonami can improve on these ratings? Please leave your comments down below. If you like this content, if you want more Toonami news content like this, please subscribe. Please hit that notification button. Hit that like button. I am Super Orange Cat, and that is all.